Hey, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak Kadash. Double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone that rule well. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect out here pushing this truth and sincerity. The water for which I do, we love you. We appreciate you through the spirit of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. And Shalom to y'all. All right, it's your brother Dawadad from the Great Millstone Camp in Atlanta. Lord willing, to give you an edifying lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai, all right? Who the world ignorantly calls God. His name is Yahweh, meaning he is, or he exists, or he to be. Who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. His name is Yahweh Shai, meaning he is the Savior, all right? He is the deliverer. He saves, he delivers, all right? If you're watching this now, you are a so-called Black, Native American, or Latino man or woman, that you are a Hebrew Israelite according to the Holy Bible. Does not you will not find Black, Native American, or Latino in the Bible. So you have to figure out who you are, because of certain people in the Bible were promised to be to be saved, right? And were given a covenant, made a covenant with the Lord. All right, and if you don't look like a so-called Black, Native American, or Latino, but you feel like this is the truth and it resonates with your spirit, well, it is a good possibility that you could be a Hebrew Israelite as well. It does not matter what you look like. It does not matter what color your skin is. It only matters that your bloodline goes back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Jacob had his name later changed to Israel. Israel in the Hebrew is Yasharallah, meaning he is a prince of the power. All right. Um, so yeah, man, we're gonna do a little read along here in Genesis. Because I was actually reading through Genesis a couple days ago, and I was inspired to do this show by the Spirit. So Lord willing, you be edified. All right, now the subtitle there reads Sarai and Hagar. All right, so there's some key points here, because what you believe to be the truth is not the truth. What your emotions make you, how they make you feel, is not necessarily correlated to reality. All right. So read along, listen, and hear some of this. Hear the truth, man, because this is good for men and women too, by the way. Right now, verse 1 says, now Sarah, Salaki, Sarai, because her name was Sarah, she had her name changed to Sarai. Right. It says, now Sarai, Abram's wife. Abram in the Hebrew means father exalted. All right, so Abram's wife bare him no children, and she had an handmaid, an Egyptian, whose name was Hagar. So listen to the story. It says, or Hagar. It says, and Sarai said unto Abram, behold, now the Lord hath restrained me from bearing. I pray thee, go unto my maid. It may be that I may obtain children by her. And Abraham hearkened to the voice of Sarai. So we got a couple things here going on, right? Number one, a man is allowed to have multiple women. All right. Now you might see what society calls that is, I call that a surrogate, right? I believe it's a surrogate, if I'm not mistaken. That's what society calls it, but that's not the name. Well, yeah, it could be, but, and then two, so that's the main thing. One, a man can have many women he can take care of. And then two, he can have a woman of another nation. All right. Egyptian, they're of another nation. Egyptians come from the line of Ham. You see? They're real Egyptians. You see? And that woman gave her handmaid, she gave another woman to her husband. And if you women were righteous, you would do the same thing. And no funny business. You can't be touching her, but he can, what's it said? Verse 3, right? Because he hearkened to the voice of Hagar. It says, and Sarai, Abram's wife, took Hagar, her maid, the Egyptian, after Abram had dwelt 10 years in the land of Canaan, and gave her husband Abram to be his wife. It says, And he went in unto Hagar, and she conceived. And when she saw that she conceived, her mistress was displeased in her eyes. Now, the main thing we want to get are these key points here about how, a man's not allowed to have multiple women. The woman gave her husband another woman, and on top of that, um, it could be a woman of another nations, man. It doesn't have to be, just a Hebrew Israelite woman, right? He don't have to. He's not bound to be just with one woman only. Why? Because you said so. Why? Because this world had deemed it such. Because you feel jealous of the woman. Because you feel that a man can't be loyal to you because he had multiple women. Well, how about all the stories here in the Bible where it speaks about how men have multiple wives, but they still went out and fought and fought in battles, and certain things happened to where they were able to make sure that all their women were safe. Because you hear stuff like that. Oh well, you can't take care of that many women. Yes, you can. What the hell are you talking about? Right? Verse 5 says, and Sarai said unto Abram, my wrong be upon thee. I have given my maid into thy bosom, and when she saw that she had conceived, I was despised in her eyes. The Lord judged between me and thee. So now, like, you have this heathen, right? Trying to stress Abram's wife, man. Like, at the end of the day, you're not his wife. Sarai is his wife. And on top of that, you're a heathen at that. How dare you? Now, you're not supposed to, even if you wasn't a Hebrew, even if you wasn't a heathen, you still wouldn't, behave that way, she comes before you. She's like the head, the female lead, and on top of that, she's your mistress, your mistress. You don't do that shit, So listen to this. It says, but Abram, and it goes to show you a lot about order, right? About respecting your elders, respecting, the ones that were set up before you. But you 2/3 don't have that respect of elders. You have that question of, if what does it say? Now, not a woman is the who put this type of question out there in the atmosphere, right? It's a spirit of a woman, because they're narcissistic, they're selfish, they only think about themselves, they want to be worshipped, they think they're better than everybody, right? So the question goes, if you're in a car with your mother and your wife, which one goes in the front seat? So now you don't even have to, if you respect your elders, right, and you respect those that come before you and respect the order of things, and that the older woman is supposed to be able to take the front seat or whatever seat she chooses. It's not even supposed to be a question. But you people are weird. You want people to worship you, right? You don't respect your elders. You have no order. You're out of order. So because you're self-centered and selfish, you women believe, and it could be a mother to a mother or a daughter, right? That came up with this question. But I remember, damn near a decade ago, that was a very popular question, man, that people wanted to ask. Because why? Because they're self-centered, right? It says, but Abram said unto Sarai, behold, thy maid is in thy hand. Do to her as it pleaseth thee. And when Sarai dealt hardly with her, she fled from her face, which is exactly what she get. That's judgment. All right. Who are you to mock the man's wife? Who are you to mock? It was of the Most High that this woman be barren at this time for a certain reason, and you're gonna mock that, and all while being a heathen, all while being a maid. Come on now, all while being lesser. Verse 7 says, and the angel of the Lord found her by a fountain of water in the wilderness, by the fountain and the way of Shur. And he said, Hagar, Sarai's maid, whence comest thou? And whither wilt thou go? And she said, I flee from the face of my mistress Sarai. Right?